Neeb versus I
Two
might butcher his name. How do you pronounce that name? Kreos?
Kreos? Yeah.
Okay, Kreos.
Two of my favorite Fight Night players. Kreos is definitely one of my favorite Gravity players, and Neeb has just been amazing every single time we've seen him play.
Yeah, Neeb's actually made a pretty good name for himself in the WCS, like qualifying for it and putting up fair results where he'd make every series go into the last game type of
hmm
scenario.
And this is actually a grudge match because Neeb pretty handily dealt with Kreos the last time they played, but I don't think Kreos was quite bringing his A game.
Hmm, interesting. Yeah, I don't. I mean, I'm very familiar. I played Kreos probably 100 times on ladder, and
hmm
I don't know how he is in his other matchups. But Zerg versus Zerg, he is yeah, one cheesy player. He'll all in speedling you like, you know, 3 out of 5 games.
I don't blame him. If there's a chaotic matchup in StarCraft, it's still ZVZ. It's not PvP or PvZ. It is ZVZ.
Yeah, I agree. It's definitely the most chaotic. I mean, it's also one of the most punishing matchups. I
hmm
mean, if you think of like one Baneling, like, oh, didn't see that. My whole army just disappeared.
Yep,
Awesome.
literally.
Yep, definitely. So, all right, let's get into the game. Zerg versus Terran. Bottom right, we have Kreos playing for Gravitas Gaming. And then, I don't know if Neeb is on a team, is he?
No, I I don't even know if I'm supposed to say, but I think he's in negotiations with a team, if I
Yeah,
remember
I
correctly.
think, yeah. I mean, he's been in Lost Platoons and FXO and other teams, but he's our Terran in the top left-hand position. And it does look like we're going to have a fast Reaper coming coming his way. So interested to see how much damage this can get done. Not the greatest map for Reapers. It's really popular on this map just because of the follow-up with like the Reaper Hellion and
Yes.
stuff. But there's not a ton of ways into, like, let's say the Zerg space, like if this was Star Station or something.
No, and honestly, I don't think the point of Reaper at this point, at this level of play, is to really be able to get that huge decisive advantage. I think it's more the map control and it's the early scouting that it gives Terran that comfort level.
Right. It's also kind of it feels like they try to dictate the Zerg's opening too. Like, I feel like that's what the Reaper's best at, is dictating Zerg's build, because it's like, okay, well, it's going to be hard for you to take a third base unless you have Zergling speed, for example.
Exactly.
Do you already have Zergling or gas being mined right now for that early Zergling speed though? So nothing too out of the ordinary. One thing I would note is that Zerg did not drone scout, and that's something that you actually see very often in this matchup. A lot of Zergs just want to know what they're playing against. Like right now, Zerg should know whether he needs to be building Zerglings or drones versus a Reaper. But it looks like Kreos is just going to play very... I would say, I just kind of say blind, but he's still making a Zergling just to be safe. At the same time, the Reaper... Go ahead.
Yeah, well, I was going to say, I would think one of the reasons why maybe that's happening here is literally because of their grudge match. Neeb played the same opening every single time and was able to win every time. So Kreos can be pretty confident the way Neeb is going to open. As ballsy as that can be, and dangerous as that can be.
Yeah, that's pretty ballsy. It's quite ballsy indeed. We do have Zergling speed already on the way. It's about 30% in. We have that Queen that's going to push back this Reaper. That Reaper isn't going to be able to do too much more damage. I really like that Neeb left this extra Reaper at his expansion. What that did is stop players. A lot of times they'll make Zerglings on their main hatch and Zerglings at their expansion hatch. And the Zerglings that they make on their expansion, they'll send straight to that command center to try to pick off that SCV. So it was really smart by Neeb to leave that Reaper behind.
Yeah,
just covering all his bases.
I actually think it's very risky not to leave that Reaper behind for that exact reason. That it's actually an inferior opening to commit both Reapers early.
Yeah, I mean, there's a greater chance you could pick off an extra Zergling or something, but odds are you're not going to be able to do anything, or anything that's just going to give you... It's not worth the risk, pretty much.
No, exactly.
Yep,
but then again, risks are how some people win.
Yeah, oh, definitely. Absolutely. Yeah, and he's making more and more Hellions. We're definitely going to see that He'll probably move out with 4 Hellions and 2 Reapers, but he'll make up to 6 probably.
Yeah.
That'd be my guess. But that third CC is really fast though, and he's going to have a really good economy. What is Zerg's answer to this though? Not really sure. He's just making drones right now. He did take his third base. Let's see if he has a way of holding onto that third base though. With all these Hellions and Reapers, he's going to have really good control to deal with it.
Yep. It's really going to come down to this engagement, and it's good. The Evo chamber's just going up now. That's pretty essential, actually, to hold off this type of aggression.
Yep, it's a really good placement. It's help wall off. It makes run-bys that much more difficult. Of course, you never really want to run-by when your opponent has speedlings in general.
Yeah,
now he's going to...
Especially on creep.
Yeah, especially on creep. He does scout that he does have a third base about to finish, so... It does look like Neeb has a lot of respect for his opponent. He's not poking around too much. He's just kind of regrouping his forces over and over while just macroing behind it.
And Kreos has kind of specified what he wants to do now. He is going to go heavy Zergling. We're seeing both melee attack and carapace. So I think it's going to be, we're going to be seeing Zergling run by. I'm sorry?
I was just saying, it's really strange. He's only on 2 gas right now. So, I mean, Zerglings are great, but I don't think you can just use Zerglings alone to win games versus, you know, a player of Neeb's caliber.
No. Definitely not. Oh, here's Banelings. So Baneling Nest going down.
Yep. Do have the lair started also, so probably going to go into Mutaling Bling, the very standard opening in Zerg versus Terran.
And Pneumatized Carapace, one of my favorite upgrades in the game. Because Overlords are just way too slow.
Okay. I'm glad you knew what that name of that was, because I was looking around like, what is he talking about?
Oh, sorry, yeah, Overlord speed.
Overlord speed, yeah. There you go.
Yeah.
I had no idea the name of it, apparently. Because I actually clicked the evolution chamber and I was like, is that what the carapace, like the ground upgrade's called? And I was like, no. Then I figured it out. I got it. I'm back on board. All right, it does look like Neeb's cleared out that third base, making sure there's nothing to stop him from taking that third base. So that's good. That'll make his base or economy really boom once he gets that third base established.
Indeed. And centrifugal hooks on the way. So we're going to see some aggressive baneling action.
Absolutely. We have a lot of Zerglings out here for our Zerg player. He is making a ton of Zerglings. This is a really scary thing. If he loses all these Hellions for nothing, then this could just be the downfall of the game for him. He really needs to start babysitting this army.
It could be. And in the meantime, we've got a 2 medevac drop coming down here on the left side of the map. Ooh.
Yep. However, it is spotted by Overlord.
Yeah. And Neeb's got to be careful not to lose his Hellions to a surround. But, ooh, getting many Zerglings.
He actually got a really good trade off that. And he just killed the 4th base. There was no cancel on that. And he picks up and saves all of his army. So this is where mutas are needed right now. Or needs also just to make a couple Banelings. Like even just a couple. He already has Baneling speed. It would just make this that much more easy to push this back. It would scare him to lift up and just get out of here.
I don't know. I don't know if I would have pushed into this like this.
Yeah, he's losing a ton of Zerglings. Like, I don't know if that trade was really worth it. I mean, if you look at the resources lost tab, it's 1,150 for Terran lost, and then Zerg has lost 2,200, so quite the difference. Mutas do show up. The medevac is boosted, so he probably won't lose any of these Marines in this medevac.
And a good long-term move here. Kreos pooping on the 4th of Neeb.
Yeah, it's always a good thing. Always, always. I'm actually surprised the one on the far right on the other 4th base isn't pooping also.
Yeah, are you a fan of TLO style, binding every Overlord to one hotkey and just hitting poop the moment layer's not ready?
It's not a bad idea. I like it. Also, I love how he spreads creep with Overlord speed drop and
Yeah.
stuff. Like, he can spread creep so fast with that, so I really do think it's good. Oh my god, he has drones on attack move. These mutas are getting destroyed. This other fourth base on the right side is going down. Tons of drones being evacuated. But at the same time, we have a push on the left side. Mines over here also. If these mines are placed and get some good shots off, these Zerglings and Banelings are going to evaporate. He just actually pushed all the creep back, so he's just slowly taking a small advantage at a time. If we look back on the right side, we do have the 2 medevacs and all the Marines still alive, including a Widow Mine over there also. So this is forcing Kreos to really split up his army and keep his army split. At the same time, though, here we have the Zerglings. Never mind, Zerglings pulled in, but they just like, no, don't think I really want to take that fight yet.
No,
And this is,
I agree.
I don't know, this could go either way at this point. It's a scary situation to be in for Zerg. Like, I would feel really scared if I knew that there was, you know, any second drops could hit me on the right side, but then I also have to defend an entire army on the left.
Well, at this point, though, Terran is fully ramped up production-wise, so he can basically take this whole army, move in, and then have reinforcements constantly. Wow, I was not expecting a Thor.
Yeah. Not too often to see Thors. However, what was really strange about this entire attack is Terran, for some reason, doesn't have +2 attack, but the Marines do have +2 armor, so they actually took a lot less damage from those Zerglings than what they normally would. So it was plus the 2-2 for some reason is not done for Zerg yet. I guess he delayed his 2-2 upgrades to pump out a lot extra mutas, but I don't know if that was really worth it, because if he had that 2-2 done during that attack, he would have cleaned it up pretty easily.
Yeah, and honestly, you know, Terran should be way farther ahead. I mean, he should be on 3-3, starting 3-3 at this point, which he finally is now.
Yeah, they both missed their upgrade timings.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm wondering how much these Thors had to do with that on Neeb's end.
It's possible. Oh, the fourth base going down. No units are anywhere near. All the bio being split up. This definitely looks like a win for me, but all the mutas are coming in here. They're focusing down the Thors. Baneling's trying to go for the Marines, and Zerg does clean it up, but at the cost of his fourth base.
Yeah. And that's really critical. If you're going to maintain this mutiling bling style, you need to be up a base against Terran.
Yeah, it's really hard to be just super cost efficient versus this type of style, but really good job here from Kreos, killing all the medevacs. This is a really big win here. However, he's just fighting pure muta versus all that bio, and he lost a lot of mutalists for it.
Yeah, but unfortunate there. So, in the meantime, Neeb has put down and muled up like crazy in his fourth. Let's see if these mutas have something to say about that, though.
Yeah, we do also have a Hive coming in for a Zerg player. I don't actually like the Hive play, though, just because it seems like he doesn't have enough army to really worry about tech at this point. Like, he needs to focus. Like, with the Mutiling Bling, it's all about, like, overwhelming your opponent. But he doesn't have enough of that overwhelming power to really start worrying about, you know, 3-3 upgrades, for example.
Yeah, unfortunately. And Neeb is really committed to these Thors this game. This is a new variation for me. It's not something I see normally.
Yeah, it's actually something that a lot of players have been doing more and more to me on the ladder, because so many players are just going so many muta heavy. They're adding in 2 and 3 Thors just to make me magic box with the mutas. So it's harder for me just to clump and pick off stuff. So it forces me to forces the Zerg player to put a lot of extra micro into it.
I guess this is a reaction to the Widowmine nerf. I would imagine. Yeah, the Widowmine's not as deadly effective as they used to be.
Yeah, I mean, the Widowmines aren't as good as they used to be. They're still pretty darn good, though.
yeah, they're still good, but
they're still good. They can still flatten an entire pack of mutas with just a couple volleys, so... Yeah. Oh my god, really good attack coming here, but oh my god, the Widowmine just killed about 6 Banelings that were about to hit all the bio.
Ouch, and I think this is that critical mass Neeb needs at this point.
Yeah, it's really difficult for Zerg to come back from this situation. Like, even bases again with his opponent. He doesn't have too large of a mute count. There's not a whole lot looking in the favor of Zerg. We do have pathogen glands actually finishing up right now, so maybe he wants to add in some infestors, but I don't know. If it was me, I think I would start going for like burrowed banelings and stuff, and trying to do like lots of counterattacks and burrowed landmines and stuff, and try to work my way back into the game. We do actually have a lot of marauders on the field. I don't know why we have so many marauders.
Well, I would imagine that's in response to all the banelings, and that's just going to make those banelings even less effective.
Yeah. Could be. We do only have +1 attack on these mutas. They're very under upgraded at this point.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm glad to see Kreos going Infestor versus Neeb's bio composition. It's not something I think I've seen him do a lot against Neeb.
Yeah, I mean, I think I would like it too if he was in a different situation. I'm all for Infestors and stuff versus Terran. Just not so much for Infestors versus, you know, behind on bases versus Terran.
Well, yeah. But then again, you don't want to be behind on bases anyways.
Yeah, that's true. Very true.
I don't think... Wow. Yeah, that's a lot of Zerglings dying.
Yeah. They die pretty fast. Terran units are good. Zerg
that's
units
a lot
are
of
equally
armor.
as good. Yeah. Especially, you know, with the upgrade advantage for Terran as well, it made it that much harder for Zerg to do anything against that type of army. So Neeb does take the first game, so we'll put him up 1-0.
All right. And let's see what the next map is going to be. You know, this has been an interesting conundrum. It seems like Neeb is Kreos' kryptonite, because I've seen Kreos dismantle many a Terran, and it seems like Neeb has always got the edge. And I'm just wondering, you know, what is it that Kreos could do differently that would allow him to be more effective against Neeb? You know, I personally... go ahead.
Sometimes play styles of players will always lean to one person. Like, for example, if one person is more oriented to timing attacks, but then you have the other person who's like, he's really strong at just defending a lot of different attacks and stuff, well, it'll always put that person as the advantage just because of play styles, right? So I feel like if that's the case, and it seems like anything Kreos does to Neeb, it just falls short or something, I would completely change up my style. I would try something different, you know? Like,
yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Even if it's not your normal ladder build, I would just be like, well, I don't do this build much, but I know how the build goes and I understand how it works, so let's do this. You know, let's play Roachling Bane versus Neeb as an opening and then transition into Mutus, so I can open different, but I can get on that same footing that feels comfortable.
Yeah, and I'm not usually a fan of a player switching their playstyle, because I think that automatically reduces their effectiveness just because they haven't practiced it as much. But I think in a case like this, I think that is the right way to go. Is you really need to pull out something different. You know, you can't just macro harder or micro a little bit better. There's more to it going on than just maybe a mistake here or there.
Yeah, I mean, it also causes a reaction from your opponent, right? To where he's like, wait a second, he always plays Zergling Baneling into Muta. And then, you know, so he's like, oh, he's all-inning me. And so he'll see a fast Roach Warren and be like, oh my god, he's doing the Roachling Bane or something. And then it just doesn't come, right? You know, it's just macro behind it. He made like 6 roaches or something, and then good to go. So there's a lot of things that go into like the best of 5, best of 7 type of mindsets.
Indeed. And a random shout out to Katie Hayes, watching me from Orlando, I think. Just wanted to say hi. Not somebody I'd be expecting to watch StarCraft, but glad to have you. Friend of mine, so figured I'd give her a shout out.
No problem.
So, I missed the map pick. Oh, Frost. Honestly, I think Frost is my least favorite map of all the new maps.
Really? I actually hated it at first, and then I actually started to really like it. I don't know, it's different. It has lots of different pathing.
Yeah.
There's lots of places.
It feels like Red City.
Yeah, kinda. Except it's not as obnoxious on the eyes.
Yeah. Yeah, this is true. It is a much prettier map than Red City. I'll give you that.
But I could see the comparison for sure.
Yeah, it seems like a lot of games in Frost, half the map, you know, it doesn't even matter. Which of course, you know, Whirlwind was like that too. But it seems like it's just wasted. You know, it's kind of like, why is that even there?
Yep, it's true. Definitely true.
All right. So if you're just joining us, welcome to Team Gravity's Fight Night, hosted by Team Gravity, sponsored by Tampa Esports. This is Rob DeLuca, known as Shadow online. Joining me today is LZ Gamer. Are you with a team right now?
I am not.
Okay. Formerly of Team Evil Geniuses.
Right.
So a much greater man in esports than I.
I don't know about all that.
I can see we have a lot of love for Red City in the chat. Terrible, man.
Such a hater.
Well, you know, I'm not much of a hater in StarCraft. Like, you know, when I used to play Terran exclusively, I used to root for them, but I reached the point where I liked all three races the same, and there really wasn't much to hate. But you know, just some maps, they just get on your nerves. Like, I think everybody has that map. They're like, really, you know, it's not just
Akelon Wastes.
Yeah. God, especially Akelon when Swarm hosts were just starting to be realized as pretty good. You
Every
remember
ladder
the
game was like an hour and a half.
yeah, basically the blockade strategy. Ugh.
Still like one of the best strategies to date, but people don't want to use it because it's so boring. Like, could you imagine practicing like the build where you're gonna make the game go an hour long? You know, just to mine out the opponent practically.
I know.
Sounds awful.
You know, it's funny that StarCraft is one of those few games that encourage you to get the hell done and move on to the next game.
Yep.
You know, it's not just the RTS strategy of rush, which, you know, of course, that's how you win, but really, an hour-long game is absurd in StarCraft. It's just absurd. And no player is used to doing it.
Pretty much. I mean, no one prepares for the hour-long game, you know? Like, I don't know. That's not true. There's a few out there that probably would.
Well, I would imagine somebody of like Flash or Innovation's caliber would, you know.
Right.
Maybe not those players in particular, but somebody of that caliber, of course, would practice every aspect. But
yeah, I think that's like one of the things that like Korean training houses that actually practice together and train together actually have as an advantage. You know, I mean, think especially with like the replay, like where you can start a game back over from take control or whatever in a replay.
Yeah,
I think that's such a good thing, because if there is a game that goes an hour long, like you could play 10 scenarios of that same game, right?
Yes.
So
but I'll be honest with you, you know what would make that feature 10 times better is the ability to go back into it without reloading.
I agree.
You know, yeah. If that existed, I think StarCraft practice would reach a whole new level, and we would see much better players, possibly not even from Korea, just because it would be that much easier to practice where you're weak.
Yeah, I agree. That would be beyond amazing. Does look like we have that Reaper pressure coming down here. No damage has been done. We have the first two gases going down, so it is a completely different opening here from Kreos, and so this could mean that he might be trying to mix things up a little bit himself.
Indeed, and that's always fun to see.
Absolutely.
Of course, on a map this large, I'm kind of curious to see what could really be effective.
Yep, got the Reapers hopping into the main. They're going to come around and try to pick off the drone. Oh, wow, they actually do get a drone. I was not expecting them to get anything. So that was actually a pretty good pick off. And one of the things about when you pick off a worker on the gas, sometimes your opponent doesn't realize it and doesn't replace it. So that's the reason a lot of times people will go for those workers on the gas, because like right now, he never put that third drone back on that geyser. So that's actually a pretty big win for Terran.
Something I'm always yelling at my my 2Ts is you've got to stay on top of your gas drones.
Absolutely. Oh, these Reapers are actually doing insane amounts of work compared to what I was expecting.
Yeah, far more effective than they should be.
Yeah, I completely agree. We do have the first evolution chamber about to be thrown down, the second evolution chamber being thrown down. Still has not replaced that drone on the gas. It's going to cost him later on in the game for sure. These Hellions and Reapers up here doing pretty good damage on this third base, and if he doesn't get his queens over here quick, he's actually going to be forced to cancel on that. And this is actually just looking better and better for Neeb right now.
Yeah, it is. Fortunately, there's not a hell of a lot of ways to get into the base right now, as the rocks are still up.
Yep,
But yeah, I was about to say he should take advantage of the fact that the queen's committed down there off the creep. Looks like that's what he tried to do.
Yeah, I mean, we do have +1/+1 coming in for these Zerglings, but like I said, I just don't feel like this is a really good opening build from our Zerg player. I don't know, it just doesn't make a ton of sense to me. I feel like if he could have easily made a quick roach warren and made like 4 roaches and wouldn't have had to do any of this. He could have just focused on creep spreading. There'd been nothing there to stop him. And then go into his upgrades, because he went for like delayed Zergling speed, which wasn't early enough to where it could have caught those Reapers or Hellions when they tried to move on to creep.
Right.
So, I don't know.
Yeah,
it's different.
It's like a delayed version of his previous build.
Yeah, that's what I would say. Like, it actually just, everything seems slower in this build from his last build. I mean, it's the exact same stuff, including the position of everything. Like, his buildings are even in the same location. Like, Bailey Nest is in the main base. Yeah, so.
Yeah, so maybe he was trying something new and just kind of fell back on what he knew.
Yeah, it's possible. We have a third base already up here for Neeb. That's the beauty of having complete map roll. They can actually move that command center over to the third base with practically no army. Like, if you look, he has like 4 Marines over at the third base, but there's just nothing there to threaten him by any way, shape, or form.
And you know, of course, the Hellions and Reapers are there for map control and to kind of force this, but I feel that they're more effective than they should have been, even now. You know, they're delaying those Zerglings being on the other side of the map this long, because Kreos is afraid of them running in.
Yeah, it's true. Actually, these Zerglings did something really cool, and he actually snuck by the watchtower range to... well, I thought he was going to counterattack like the third base or something, but he's actually just trying to surround these units. And wow, was this
he's going to get it.
Off? Wow, he even used the watchtower and the fog to actually catch him. That was actually really cool. So now he has 1/1 Zerglings and a lot of them. Medevacs are up now though, so yeah, depends on what he's going to do. Holy crap, that is a ton of Banelings coming in. So it definitely looks like we're going to have a mass Ling Bling bust on his way. There is no signs of a 4th base. He is just pumping tons and tons of Zerglings. So this is this looks like a lot like his CBT, to be honest. This is what I this is what I know best from. Oh my God, he left the door open.
Yeah, that was a.
Alright,
come on, Kreos, get those Banelings down there in the SCVs.
Surprisingly, his Banelings haven't really went around and done anything as of now, and he kind of actually just...
28 workers killed is not bad. Like,
it's not bad.
Could have been better, honestly.
Yeah, it definitely could have been. He is focusing down the Banelings.
Going to get picked off before they more.
Oh my God. A lot more SCVs about to go down. These Banelings do finish. And yeah, so now a lot of damage has been done. This is a lot of damage.
Yeah, and I think Kreos, if he just keeps the pressure up, he might be able to secure a victory here.
And that's what he's thinking. He's thinking, if I can just keep doing the pressure, I'll overwhelm him. it's possible. It's absolutely
No,
possible.
I'm concerned that Kreos isn't sure what he should be striking at right now. I mean,
Yeah, you
definitely
really should just be hitting lots of different areas. Like anytime you have more units than your opponent, like spreading it out and hitting more areas is always the better plan. Yeah, surprisingly, the army supplies are pretty much even at this point.
Yeah, they are, but of course mules are good, but they can only compensate so much.
Oh god. Oh, I thought those banelings were going to go for the worker line.
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't look like Terran just has enough just to kind of get back on his feet. Like the pressure just doesn't stop. It's a non-stop thing. Yeah, that's going to be GG.
Congratulations, Kreos.
Yep. So that worked. So pretty much instead of him saying, "Hey, I'm gonna, take him to the late game and beat him there," he just played for the early mid game, and hit him with a really strong timing.
Very effective. And he kind of threw us for a loop with that build, but I think he had a very, not lucky break. I mean, he worked for it, but it was a lucky break getting such a good and cost-effective surround in the middle of the map and taking out the map control party. And that's what really opened the game up.
Yeah, I don't think that's something you can rely on to happen. Like, oh, this will happen every time. Just move my Zerglings in this formation, and then boom, I surround all of his Hellions and stuff easily. Yeah, he definitely got the most cost-effective trade you could ask or hope for from that. So, yeah, really well played though.
Indeed.
I like how he went around all 4 ways to try to surround those Hellions, and then he inevitably got them.
Yep, and it was very synchronized too. So, a lot of times it's hard to pull off a surround with 3 or 4 groups. 1 or 2 is fine because you can hotkey those, but 3 or 4 that takes some skill.
Definitely.
And if you'll excuse me, I got to sneeze. Okay.
So let's see, what's the next game? Polar Night?
Yep. Very fun map.
No, it's an awful map. Let's just call it what it is. It's a terrible designed map.
Very blockadable as Protoss.
Yep. It's ones that reward like non-aggression.
Yeah. And our observer will be right back.
Looks like
Wanna
they
give a
put me
shout
in.
out?
Looks like I'm playing now.
Well, that's fine.
Give your shout out. Go.
Yeah, we should have you as a show match participant sometime.
Yeah, maybe so.
There you go. You're on the spot now. Is it going to be yes or no?
Sure. I'll play.
That's awesome. So anyways, a shout out to Beast, your observer today. Doesn't appear like he's had much alcohol, so he's still pretty on point. Hello, all the viewers out there.
So yeah, what's your prediction? What's the score going to be of this show match?
Well, honestly, as much as I love Kreos, I was expecting a 3-0. But now that it's 1-1, I have no idea.
I thought you were going to say you're expecting a 3-1.
No.
That's what I was expecting.
Because Neeb had the... when two basically matched players play each other and one player just gets that momentum, it's like he becomes indomitable even though he really shouldn't be anymore. Like, that's what Neeb had going with... Yeah, that's what Neeb had going with Kreos. And I think until that got broken, it was going to keep going. But now that it's broken, I think we can get back to seeing these guys mix it up.
I see. So you think Kreos got a breath of fresh air and ready
Yes.
for round 3, huh?
Absolutely.
All right. So see if it happens.
So, what do you think about Great Torp leaving NASL?
I don't know. It depends what he's gonna do next. I'm really good friends with Gratorp, so I was sad to hear that he left NASL, but hopefully he still does something like esports related of some sort. So yeah,
Definitely a guy who did his homework and cared about what he was doing. Definitely.
definitely. Yep. He has a lot of passion. He's a really intelligent guy.
And he is a good player. You know, people don't realize how strong he is, but
Yeah, he's probably like the most skilled caster.
yeah,
To be honest.
yeah. I mean,
like,
Artosis has gotten pretty good, you know, master level on Korea server, but I think Great Torp is probably even stronger.
yeah, but the difference is Gratorp is hit Grandmaster with all 3 races.
Yeah,
That's the difference. So.
yeah, definitely. I mean, you can't argue with that. But I remember watching him, and during beta, he was actually beating. I remember that they were doing a show match where they would bring on the pros, and I think he beat. Who's the Zerg from Team Liquid?
He beat Rhett, right?
Right, yeah, he beat Rhett. You know, and Rhett was doing Swarm Hosts, and he actually beat him with High Templar. So I was like, wow. You know, that was at that time.
He was ahead of the meta.
Yeah, he was ahead of the meta.
Yep.
It was pretty impressive.
Now everyone sees Swarm Host, they're like, oh, High Templars, that's a good counter. Because you wipe out the wave of Locusts, then you proceed to kill him real quick.
Yep. It's very interesting when theory crafting leads to an actual new strategy.
It is. It's the beauty of StarCraft, ever-changing.
Yeah, indeed.
Ever-changing.
So
Especially
here's that
when,
drone scout you like to see.
I know, finally. Finally.
And honestly, now that it's 1-1, I think Kreos should be scouting because I think all bets are off at this point.
Mm-hmm.
And ooh, kind of an overpull on SCVs there from Neeb.
Yeah, I'm wondering what's going on too. It's like, oh god, I gotta get it. Like, that drone wasn't gonna do anything. He just wanted to see if he took a gas.
Yeah, it's like, dude, it's not a probe. You don't have to freak out. It's just a drone.
You know, if you see a probe, that could mean that everything is actually in your base right now. Like, that's the reaction you have to take when you see a probe in your base. Like, uh-oh, where's the cannons? Are there proxy gateway or what?
Yeah. Never trust the probe.
Never trust a probe. It's the strongest unit in the game.
It is. It really is.
It is.
Come on. I mean, what other worker gets a ranged attack?
Artosis used to say that back in Brood War. He would always say that the probe was the strongest unit in the game because it could create an entire army, and it's been true and a staple in my mindset forever because of that.
Yeah.
Like, you get one SCV out in a base trade, and it's gonna build like what, one depot or one command center or barracks at a time. You get one probe out, and it's gonna build like an entire fleet in nothing.
Yeah. Or it's going to cover the map with assimilators or something.
Yep, exactly. Zerg definitely gets the bad end of that deal. It's like our units just are like, we breed them just to die, like moments later. It's like, oh, welcome to the world. Now go turn into an extractor and die. Like,
Yeah.
really. Wow, we actually have Zerglings being built. A lot of Zerglings, actually. I don't know why you need this many unless he is planning on trying to do where he sends 2 of the Zerglings to his opponent's base. But they're not queued up to do that unless he changes it. So, I don't know. The Reaper does force a spore colony to be produced. He's trying to wait to see if that gets canceled. He's waiting for it to get canceled and then obviously try to snipe it down since it's low health. But too many Zerglings show up and push him back.
Yeah.
And the dance continues.
Pretty good. Yeah, I am surprised the number of Zerglings here. They're not being used.
Yeah.
And I mean, this early, if you're going to make Zerglings, you need to use them. I don't mean run them into the base and try and kill things, but they need to be pressuring.
Yeah, I mean, they can't really pressure with the Reapers out.
Right.
Now, once he has Zergling speed finished, then he'll be able to retake map control. Really interested to see if we're going to see kind of the same thing he did the last couple games, to where it's that same, like heavy Zergling, upgraded style really quickly. So it does look like the exact same build coming out from Neeb. He's always been one of these players, though, that he pretty much gets one build that works for him and just keeps doing it over and over. So I'm not shocked by any means that he's going for a really fast third CC.
And honestly, as a North American player, I don't think that's a bad idea. It's better to get really good at one build, I think, and be able to play at a competitive level with one build than have a bunch of little funky builds.
Yeah, like a lot of gimmicky type of styles and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That you can't really execute.
Well, this is definitely like having doing it this way, where you have like just a couple of really solid builds. It makes you where you're solid enough to like qualify through qualifiers and stuff, right? Because it makes you consistent.
Right.
But if you do like a lot of crazy builds, it's the type of style where you might be able to beat Jaedong, but then you might lose to Surfer Boy 89 the very next game. So.
Indeed. Speaking of Jaedong, we were talking about consistent players. He seems to be the only consistent player we have lately. Granted he's not getting first, but he's consistently getting second.
Yeah, I mean, he's pretty consistently always placing really high. There's a couple that he just kind of fell out of real quick, though. Like, as of pretty recent, I think. I think he lost second round or something. But not, yeah, you're right. He is one of the most consistent players out there. Him and Tasia, I think, have probably been the most consistent since they even came onto the scene.
Before Innovation, there was Tasia.
Yeah, I'm actually shocked why Innovation gets so much more hype than Tasia, because I think Tasia's better than Innovation, like, just overall. Like, I feel like he doesn't get the credit he deserves.
Yeah. Yeah, Tasia was the person that I emulated and most aspired to play like.
Yeah, absolutely.
For the longest time.
Does look like these Hellions are consistently killing these creep tumors. Like, he's doing a fabulous job of just denying creep spread on that right side.
Yeah.
Creep spread is probably the most important in this matchup too. Like, nothing makes it harder than to kill like Marines and bio pushes and stuff when you're off of creep. Like, if you can't establish a good creep spread, I think that's like one of the staples of like, are you a good Zerg player or not? Like, how is your creep spread?
Exactly.
Because like, if you look at players like Scarlet, whose creep spread is just phenomenal. Like, you can't stop her from not having half the map at like 15 minutes,
Right.
So, I think those are one of the things that can separate a good player from a great player.
Yeah, I definitely agree. And actually, Scarlet is, I think, people did some calculations back in the day, and she's one of the most efficient creep spreaders in the game.
Yeah, probably.
Like I think she's around 70% of theoretical maximum efficiency on average. Yeah.
Pretty impressive.
Yeah, when you think about that, you could only be 30% better, and it'd be impossible to be any better.
I don't know. I'd be okay. I would be pretty happy if my creep spread was that good. Like, to be honest, I'd be like,
Well, yeah, you can do so much when your creep is banging on the door of your opponent. I mean, you have so many options.
And that's what this game's all about in general. Just the more options you can make for yourself, the better position you're going to be in. It does look like that we have the third base now fully set up and going for Neeb. We have a fourth base actually being taken by Kreos. It does look like he's going back into that same type of style, the delayed 2-2. He's delaying his upgrades now. He's making a ton of Lings and Banes, and he's just really going for a heavy unit production instead of a long-term investment.
Indeed. And Neeb very spot on with the pickups.
Yep. Does have all of his Hellions and stuff still alive from the early game, so that's going to make it a lot harder to... Yeah, that's critical.
That's extremely dangerous. Yeah, you don't want Terran to have all the Reapers and Hellions this far into the game, because it just makes this push with the Marines so much stronger to deal with.
Couldn't agree more. Big drop here in the main. Kreos is losing a ton of drones. The Queen went down. The Spire could be in trouble, but nope, Zerglings do show up. But I don't know if these Zerglings are going to be able to do anything. The Banelings, though, those will show up and put enough pressure on his opponent. I think Kreos did a really good job there defending or splitting up his army to where he didn't take critical damage at either location. We have more Lings and Banes coming in here, going for the surround, trying to use the watch to pin him in. Pretty good detonations off from the Banelings, but still a lot of units here from actually the Zerg players. Muta reinforcement is huge. They had like 5 mutas show up to the battle.
Indeed.
Pretty an even trade overall, I would say.
Actually, yeah, I don't think Kreos realized that he had pushed Neeb all the way back. He might have been able to pick up a few SCVs.
I didn't even realize that the far right expansion was even dropped until it was dead.
Wow. Yeah. That's what happened.
Yeah. I was wondering.
Well, at least our observer saw it.
Yeah. Well, that's good. I was wondering. I was like, where's the pressure at? Like, why did Zerg pull back? I feel like he would just continue to rally, but then
yeah,
that's a good reason why not to. It's like, oh, I'm losing my base, so let me pull back. Both players running pretty similar APM. Terran's at 230, Zerg is at 238. Pretty good.
Yeah, that is pretty good. And if you'll excuse me, I need to use the restroom real quick. Be right back.
Not a problem. See the question of I feel Scarlet is the best NA player, her or Kane by Robbie772. I would say Scarlet is the best NA player for sure. I don't think anyone would disagree either. Like Huck doesn't compare to Scarlet. Huck's good, but if you made Huck play Scarlet in like a best of 9, it wouldn't be a question. Kane is also a good player. Just I feel like Scarlet's just a little bit better. A little bit. All right, just waiting for the
Sorry about that.
The next map. No problem. Welcome back.
Thank you very much. Got myself some Chipotle.
Very nice.
Ooh, extra lettuce.
Not too many things in life better than Chipotle.
Indeed, man. Although I did have a beef with Chipotle for a while. I always felt that they ripped you off when you got tacos.
I've always been a burrito person, so I don't know.
Well, yeah, the burritos are a hell of a deal. You get a lot of food that way.
Yeah, I agree. You get less food with the tacos.
Yeah, and I tried to complain to them, and they just did the courtesy. Oh, here's some gift cards. Go screw yourself. And I was like, no, really, man, I'm serious. Like your tacos are too small. And they just ignored me. Got some gift cards.
I don't know why you would go and get like either the bowl or the tacos when you get way more food in the burrito.
Yeah.
All right, everybody's in the lobby. Countdown has started. So now we're sitting at 2-1 for Neeb. So Kreos' build that time. Of course, that was a really bad Zerg map, so it's no shock that he might not have come out on top. It's a really hard map for Zerg to deal with. It's just really close distance from base to base, so it it makes it really hard to defend all the different locations and stop Terran from pushing across the map, which is like a tic-tac-toe, or not tic-tac-toe, hop, skip, and a jump. That's what I was thinking. So we do have Zerg spawning in the bottom left, Kreos. And in the bottom right, we have Neeb playing as the yellow Terran.
And we have a call for you to predict Naniwa versus Scarlet.
All right, easy. As I don't know, that's a really tough one to call. Let's say, what is it? A best of what? 7, 9, 5?
Not sure.
That'd be important to know.
Yeah. So you think Naniwa could take it in
I think
a
both of
shorter
them
series?
could take it. I think Naniwa would take it in a shorter series, and I think Scarlet would take it in a longer. So it all depends on how it was, the format. Because I think Zerg is easier. Like the more games you play, I think Zerg kind of starts to favor Zerg a little bit more because they start to catch on to a player's style or a certain build. But in a short series, like Protoss has so many different builds that it's really easy to catch your opponent off guard.
Yeah.
Also, I think
definitely agree with
Scarlet's
that.
one of those players that really identifies her opponent. I think she's actually one of the best players, actually, that plays against her opponent and not just against the race, if that makes sense. She really understands like how her opponent plays. Like if she watches her opponent play a series before that of the same matchup, and then she has to play that person, well, she's now 2 steps ahead of where she might have been if she didn't see that type of game.
I agree. And one more thing in favor of that prediction. I think Scarlet struggles a little bit with nerves on her first game a lot of times.
Yeah.
And then is able to come back much stronger in the follow-up. Even if she loses the first game, she's still able to play much stronger the following games.
Definitely. Do have a very standard opening from both players here. Looks like, again, we're going to have the Reaper. So Neeb is going to do the same build every game, it seems. I think you called that.
Yep.
Well, good. Next time
it
I
works.
play Neeb on ladder, I'm blind countering this crap. So.
Hey, if you got a blind counter for this, then let Kreos know, because I'm sure he'd appreciate it.
Yeah, Roach Bane, there's a Roach Bane bust that's really strong versus a super fast 3rd CC. Like, there's not really a way to stop it without taking damage. Like, you don't have to make it an all-in. You can just do it and gain an advantage from it. That's the reason, like, the Muslim kept getting blind countered a lot, and he'd complain about it, because his style would be, like, really predictable. So, and he almost played exactly like this, to be honest. We do have the Reaper going straight to Neeb's base. Zergling speed just started, so he is ready to deal with this. The Reaper's trying to do some work, not able to though. These Zerglings are being controlled really well and trying to cut him off, but Reapers cannot ever be killed or caught by Zerglings. StarCraft 101. And yeah,
Really
so
not.
the Reaper does his job. He scouts what his opponent opened with, and that's it. They live to fight another day.
Indeed. And, I missed it. Actually, if Kreos made these Zerglings at the same time that he did last game, or if he waited a little bit, made another round of drones before he made these.
No, it's standard timing. Spawning pool
Okay.
finished, instantly made Zerglings. This time, though, he only made... oh, no, he did make 6. I thought he only made 4 this time, but... No, he went back and made another 2. I don't really know why you need 6. I think 4 is plenty.
That's why I'm saying, I know we're talking subtlety here, but I think once you get to that 6 Zergling and above level, you've traded at least a drone that you didn't need to if you're not going to be immediately, aggressive with them. For them to sit in your base just seems kind of wasteful. Like, it's not as efficient as it could have been.
Yeah. Oh,
I don't know. Maybe you'll disagree. We're talking subtleties here.
No, I agree. Like, if you're just going to play really defensive, I think 4 Zerglings is fine. I mean, that's 1 extra drone that you can sneak out early. Do have a 3rd base already being taken by Kreos, so that's good. It's nice that he's going to get a really fast 3rd base. However, the 3rd base for Neeb is already finished. Like, that's how fast Terran can get 3 CCs up and going. It actually is really funny this game. I was talking about Roach Bane and stuff, but Neeb actually made a Marauder early this game just in case of roaches. So that's a weird thing. That's something that a lot of Terrans will do if they think your opponent might be going for some kind of bust or something.
And once again, it looks like well, there's some Zerglings coming out, but it looks like these Reapers and Hellions are going to be uncontested for a while.
I would say so. It looks like they have pretty good map control. Now there's 6 Hellions, 2 Reapers.
Yeah.
Constantly picking off these tumors, doing a really good job of denying that creep. He wants to go in and try to get some actual damage done, either killing Zerglings or whatever, but he just doesn't have the opportunity to. These queens are doing a really good job of just kind of being bodyguards.
Indeed. Do you remember StarCraft before queens were buffed?
Yeah, I was
What a pain in the
Terran
ass
then.
it was.
It was a great day. Man,
oh,
that
okay.
was-
So you
Queens
were on the
got
other
buffs.
end.
Yeah, for a large majority of Wings of Liberty, I actually played Terran.
I mean, it was the go-to race, right?
Mm-hmm. It's good. Do you remember the 5 Rax Reaper?
Yeah. Oh my God, that was amazing.
Yeah, I invented the 5 Rax Reaper.
That was you?
I-
That
Yeah,
popularized
I
it?
never made any money off of it. Yeah, it was featured on like the day 9 party thing he did, like before right as StarCraft 2 is released, and yeah, like he showed it me pretty much beating all the EG Zergs with Mass Reapers. It was pretty funny. Of course, I didn't win any money off of it. Who was it? Moro won like, I don't know, 2 tournaments back to back or something with just massing Reapers. Must have been a good day. Must have been a good day.
I always feel like
also
what? Oh wow, yeah. Yeah, but this is common, man. He's always got this macro hatch, but you know
Yes.
we kind of know what's going to happen here.
Yeah, this has to be that bust build because yeah, he's not taking all of its gases. He's got to be going for just a mass Zergling bust right here. So I mean, I guess he's thinking, hey, it worked once. It's the only time I beat him so far in the last 2 show matches. I might as well try it again. Maybe he's really bad versus this type of style. So we're going to see these Hellions and Reapers actually are in a really bad spot. They're not scouting or doing anything to see if this is coming.
Yeah, and it is critical to defending a Baneling bust is knowing that it's coming.
Yeah, he's actually prepared for it already, and it's just ready to raise his wall and just use these behind.
Here it comes.
Finishes, they come in, they're crashing in, they're going for the bio, and the Hellions. Lots of damage being done to the bio. Hellions are still doing a great job of fighting though. They picked off a lot of stuff, and yeah, this attack is held off. Medivacs are now on the field. He needs to redo this wall off like as quick as possible because pretty much Zerg's motto here, if you don't first succeed, try and try again.
And you are the swarm. I would have liked to seen Kreos that separated 2 Banelings and just thrown them at the SCVs while all that was going on.
Yep. Need to lift off of the Medivacs. Oh no, he lowered the wall. That was equally as scary. Somehow it worked in his favor, but scary nonetheless. This bunker and SCVs are now in trouble. More bio coming around here, but wow, good Zerglings around, and this is going to get cleaned up like crazy. And I actually think that yeah, I think Zerg might have just done it again, the exact same way.
Yep, this is looking really
Still
good.
close, but it's looking good. If these Zerglings are over here killing these SCVs and stuff, which now they are, he definitely has the ability to break this.
The difference here is at this point, Kreos had about 30 worker kills the last time.
Yeah, true.
Game paused.
Up. Looks like we have a lag problem. I didn't see any lag. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe it was on his end. Let's have some PC lag. Here we go again. Round number 65 of the Masculine Bane. Approaches. It looks like it's working like a charm.
This feels like a critical mass here.
That is a lot of units, and I have a large feeling that Terran might be dead.
Yeah. Yeah, oh yeah, there. 30 workers just exploded.
Yeah. He's down to 21 SCVs right now versus 60 drones. And I'm not so sure he's going to be able to push this back.
No, because at this point, Kreos is just going to be able to permanently delay that third or prevent that third. And, you know, even if he's not aggressive, which I think he should be, even if he's not, he can just completely outmass Neeb at this point.
Yeah, we also see that he's actually going back into drone production now, too. So he's actually just like, you know what? I already got a big enough advantage from this.
Right.
I can go back, I can add mutas, I can grab a fourth base, I can take a bigger advantage from this.
Exactly.
So,
win ahead, get more ahead.
Right. The only way he could have technically, in my opinion, like, lost or fell really far behind if he just would have kept attacking. He attacked anyways, and still looks like he's doing alright for himself.
Ooh, careful with this Widow Mine, though.
Yeah. Either way, though, even if he cleans all this up, he's only going to have, you know, a handful of Marines and Widow Mines left, and it's just not enough to push across the map again. Like, he's going to be on the defensive for a long time now. So now's the time when Kreos can pretty much do anything he wanted to. Like, if he wants to go for Ultralisk, throw down that infestation pit, go towards Hive. You know, there's a lot of options that he has now.
Indeed. Now, Neeb has still got a strong army. You know, it would seem to me that Neeb's only chance at this point would be a death push. You know, while he still has an army advantage, because he does not have the economy to be able to get back just by playing the eco game.
Well, he has to do one or the other, but I don't think either is going to work, and there's the GG.
So 2-2.
2-2.
Definitely Kreos saying, I've had enough of this.
Yep, I'm actually 100% sure we're going to see that same build this next game. It's going to be the same thing. Because he's like, okay, Neeb has a problem dealing with this, right? Because Neeb pretty much focuses on mostly bio and medevacs.
Yeah,
and bio and medevacs isn't great versus that. Like, you need early tanks, or you need or lots of Widow Mines type of thing to deal with that. And he he's read that his opponent doesn't like to go for those type of styles. So I mean, if you know, I don't know why he would try something different if that's working for him so well.
Exactly. And this to me is my favorite type of StarCraft is when you've gotten beyond the cheesy, you know, you're just winning a game because your opponent's never seen you play and he just pulls a random build and you're screwed. When you're actually trying to beat the build that you know is coming, you know, I think that's where you see the top level of play. You know, that's why one of the reasons why I think Korean play is so good, because they know their opponents so far ahead of time.
Yeah.
Not to mention they have better training environments.
Yeah, I think that's a big part of it.
Yeah.
Definitely,
but the format of GSL encourages it. Is
Yep.
kind of what I'm getting at.
Oh, yeah, I agree. I agree.
So, Akalon Waste.
Oh boy. There is no better turtle map for Terran just to get on 4 bases. I would be shocked if Neeb doesn't go tanks. Like, I don't know why he wouldn't go biotank at this point.
Yeah.
He could pretty much sit on tanks till he was on, you know, 3 or 4 bases or whatever he just felt comfortable to do a timing push, right? Since he knows his opponent also delays upgrades a lot, in any style that he's shown throughout these series, that he should just go for like quick upgrades and really punish him for that. Like the 18-minute 3-3 type of Terran.
Exactly, the classic Terran. Yeah.
The innovation Terran.
Yeah. You know, the good old days when 1-1 was done at 10-ish, 10:30-ish at the most.
Yep.
You know, 2-2 done in about 13-ish, and then you were pushing out at that point, and your 3-3 was finished by the time you were, you know, coming back with your second rally.
By the time you stopped rallying your opponent's base.
Yeah.
Do have a wall off coming for Neeb. Gonna play it pretty safe. No reason to ever not wall off,
Yeah, especially.
especially against Zerg. It'd be nothing worse way of losing than just like, oh, darn, I got 6 pulled.
Yep.
That's it. Right?
Always ridiculous to see people lose to a 6-pull because they didn't wall off.
Or they go CC first on like the low ground.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, you could have been safe if you put it on the high ground.
Yeah. Not even bothering to scout to see if it is safe to put it on the low ground. But then again, you know, that's how Marine King was so successful at one point.
Yep.
Just ballsy eco play. And pretty good micro.
Well, he had exceptional micro at the time. Then everyone else learned how to do it too.
Yeah.
I was Terran when he showed off his micro, and I was just like, I don't even know if I can even like attempt that. Like, what the frick? And now it's like I can do it in my sleep, and I don't even play Terran. So
Yeah,
it's just
and then you
funny
got
how,
those.
like, those mechanics started to develop in everybody.
Yep, and you saw custom maps even to train those types of things, like the Marine Challenge.
Yep.
Just specifically for that type of thing.
Absolutely.
So you have the voice of an angel, according to one fan.
Yeah, right.
And I perpetually have the voice of somebody with food stuffed in his mouth.
Well, I thought
Which
that
is
was
okay.
legit, though. Isn't that what happened?
Well, it is
Aren't you
legit.
eating Chipotle?
I am
Okay.
eating.
So funny.
But everyone expects that from me. That's like my shtick. Just to eat on air.
Exactly. Definitely.
I'm sure Martin warned you about it.
No, actually, he didn't.
Martin's such a good guy.
received 0 warnings. Wow, what the heck just happened? It was like a perfect surround Zergling setup, and then the Reaper just ran by everything. Not even being touched.
Well, it's going to have to sit back and heal for a second.
Yeah. He'll sit back for a bit, but he'll be perfectly fine.
Oh,
Again, leaving that second Reaper back. Really intelligent play there from our Terran player. I am expecting a third CC any second now. Any second.
It's very prophetic of you.
Yes, there it is.
What do you know?
Boom.
Well, and now the question is Kreos, are you going to do it again? You going to Baneling bust him or do something else?
We'll have to see what happens. Got the first Hellions on the way now. Did send his other Reaper back because he knew Zergling speed would finish pretty soon. Usually it always finishes around like 6:10 though. It was like the standard timing.
That used to be one of the ways I could tell a life game. You know, remember when you couldn't get Korean games?
Mm-hmm.
And I could tell when Life was playing. Not only because he uses one hockey, it's amazing, but because he always has like that 403, 406 speed timing.
Mm-hmm.
Like it was just, that was Life. Like you knew that was going to happen against Terran. He would always do that timing. And now it's, you know, it's so common that you can't really tell
It's true.
who it is.
Very true. So now the famous 2 Reaper 4 Hellion pressure poke is coming up. So he'll be scouting out to see if his opponent took a third base and what timing it's at. And everything like that. We do have Stim Pack being researched already, so that'll pretty much mean mech is out of the question, even though this is like one of the best mech maps there is.
Yep.
Probably ever.
Yeah, any turtley map is good for mech.
Yeah.
But especially Athlon.
What happened to one of the Reapers? Did I miss it dying?
Yeah, I'm trying to find him myself. He's alive, but I don't know where he is. Oh, there he is. He's running around the third, or natural side.
Ah.
Yeah, he actually got picked off. Now this is a little different. Normally, Neeb's got both his Reapers.
Yep. Reapers actually add a lot of DPS in the poke, so it makes them kill
Hell yeah.
queens and everything else that much quicker. We actually see a spine crawler this time being put out there. He doesn't want to take any damage from those Reapers or anything. All right, we have the factory now finished with another reactor on it. So what's that going to be? Nothing. The factory at this point is nothing more than a add-on more.
I remember when I first started playing, I thought that they build faster with the factory, and I thought that's why they did that until, you know, time went by and I realized, oh, no, that way you can build it simultaneously.
Yeah, no, I never
Just
thought
one of
that,
those
but
those cute amateur moments, or not amateur, but you know, noob moments.
Yep, definitely. Again, not super fast upgrades here from our Terran player. He's actually 30 seconds behind or so from the Zerg, so Zerg's going to have a window to where he's going to be able to have that upgrade advantage and really bully his opponent. Macro hatches being thrown down. All the gases are being mined now, so this could mean that he actually wants to go back into that Spire type play. We also have a fourth base actually coming down to our being built also. So yeah,
and his creep is looking pretty good.
Yeah, this is looking really good for Kreos. I feel like he's doing a really good job this game. He has everything kind of going in his favor. Like there was no pressure or harass that did any damage to him at all. So he's almost been untouched this entire time, and so he's had. I think this is probably his best chance of beating Neeb in a macro game.
Right, and yeah, exactly, in a straight up game. But you know, history has not been on his side with this, so it'll be interesting to see if he can actually pull it off. Just because I've seen him start very strong many times, and then Neeb just out multitasks him. He just out maneuvers him in such a way that he's not able to hold the advantage.
Yeah, definitely. Do have the Reapers and Hellions checking out the creep spread, actually trying to stint it or stall it for a while, but I don't know. I don't see this happening. This queen's just going to. Actually, the queen might die. Where is the Zerg?
Yeah, well, I don't understand why this queen's dying.
Yeah, I don't understand anything that I just saw. A new queen came and took the replacement, but I'm really confused why these Zerglings didn't surround those Hellions and stuff while they were on creep. It seemed like an easy pickoff. We do have medevac drop over here that's now unloaded, and he's just kind of wandering around. Actually, he's going to try to kill another queen.
Yeah, but this time the Banelings are here to help. And I think the Marines are just going to get picked up, and nothing's really going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, you got like 3 or 4 Marines off that, so that wasn't too bad of a pickoff for nothing. He's just going to keep remaking those tumors, which is what you do. Not mining the gas yet from his 4th base. That's a needed thing. The reason you grab those gases, or those bases, or you need more bases than 3, it's just more so for gas than anything else.
Absolutely. Yeah, at that point, usually you're just dumping those minerals and spine crawlers to defend against drops and things like that.
Definitely.
Because you don't need... Yeah.
Mutas are up and at them, so this is great. This will help with the extra defensive and extra
the drones are getting picked off here. The 4th.
Oh wow,
Several
he moved
drones
his entire
down.
army right as he dropped right back there. This medevac better be picked off by these mutas. Yeah, I think he got that medevac for sure.
Yeah, and this is...
More creep tumors being picked off though by Terran. He's doing a really good job of just being pesky with those scans and just constantly denying the Zerg player.
Who's better, Korean Air or Kreos? Wow, that's a controversial question. Mm-hmm. They're teammates, so anybody who's asking that is just asking for a shitstorm.
Huge push coming out here from Neeb. A lot of Widow Mines. We have a Thor mixed in the army as well. However, the 2-2 is not finished. I can't stress that enough, how that 2-2 needs to be done for Terran for this push. Oh my god, huge surround coming in, but it does look like the Zerg pulled back.
And it's not going to matter because 2-2 is going to finish by the time he pushes again.
Yeah, I don't understand Kreos at all. His 1-1 was 30 seconds faster, but his 2-2 is not even halfway done.
Yeah. Whereas Neeb's 2-2 will be done, momentarily.
Right. So he delayed it for about 3+ minutes before he even started his.
Actually,
that's painful.
I don't think we saw mech plating the last time in the Neeb. Well, this is slightly different.
Yeah, it's definitely different. This looks like Zergling's running here trying to pick off some of these, but Neeb is already in the pre-split formation, so this is not going to work and do all that good. I don't see how he could even hold this fourth base or this be possible.
Yeah, it's dead. And this is not looking good at all. You know, once Neeb gets this critical army supply advantage, I've not seen Kreos able to come back from it.
Yeah, it looks like Kreos has a great, like he has no problems until he gets to past the 15-minute mark, and then it's like mutas come into play, and then I don't know if it's decision making or what, or if it's just all the different multi-pronged attacks that he just spreads them so thin, and he just like falls apart at different areas. But it's like you know, like we saw Banelings run into the Thor, for example, up at the top.
Right.
Engagement and stuff like that, to where it's like he didn't handle everything as well as he could have. And the upgrades is just a huge ordeal too.
Yeah, that's the upgrade is a big problem. But we're about to see a showdown here in the middle of the map.
Yeah, big Baneling hits going down. This Thor is still doing pretty good work, but he's actually targeting the Zerglings for some reason instead of the mutants, so that's best case scenario. And it does look like Kreos is going to be fighting back. Oh my god, the Widow Mines are not burrowed. And there they go, they do take off and kill all of the Zerglings and stuff, but more reinforcements, but a huge drop over here at the third. And it's like, I feel like it's deja vu again. He cleans up the army, but he's going to lose almost an entire base for it. Zerg's drone count is back to 44, so...
Yep.
This is...
Yeah, the fourth was completely cleared out. There's 39 workers dead now. 38, 39.
Yep. I mean, right now, when Kreos needs to be building army just to continue to deny like a fourth base from Terran and stuff, he can't, because now he has to build drones again to work back on his economy. So this is just... it's not looking good for our Zerg hero.
Oh. That's strange. There's no textures on the missile turret for me. It's just a yellow missile turret.
I don't know what we're looking at.
No, I think it's just my computer that's bugging out. StarCraft is not a very buggy game, so it's surprising to see a bug.
Yeah, it's really not. It does have a ton of mutas though, and if there's any unit that can pull you back into a game, it's the muta. But the thing is, Kreos is not using the mutas to harass or anything. He's just completely using them defensively.
And 20 mutas is not enough to be defensive. You really need, like, as absurd as it sounds, 30 plus mutas, maybe
you need
40.
A massive number.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, more Banelings coming in, but there's no plan, I feel like, from Zerg. Like, he's making an army, but he's not harassing, he's not doing anything. I mean, if you look at any of the bases, there's only a couple of missile turrets there, which he has enough mutas to kill. So, I mean, there's options to harass, but he's not using any of them to really hit his opponent.
Yeah, and I think the infestors are going to be too late too. I mean, packaging blends is only halfway done, but
yeah, I don't see that coming into play. Great splitting here by Neeb. He is doing a fabulous job of just splitting his entire army and pretty much making these Banelings and little attacks do hardly no damage. However, there's a Baneling flank coming around, and this could be can do a ton of good, except 3-3 pretty much kills all of them before they even get there. It does look like Kreos is going to clean it up, but, you know, like, I don't know, he took more economic damage. I don't know if it's just too late.
I wish he was a little more aggressive on these. There he goes. Now he's taking out the medevacs. I think he had even more opportunity to kill medevacs than that.
Yeah. I mean, anytime you can keep that meta count low, or medevac count low, it's just so good. It actually makes your Zerglings where they can kill Marines.
Yeah.
Oh, another base down for Kreos. I don't know. I don't see how how he
Yeah,
can do it
I mean,
because
Neeb's,
it looks like he's going to be on the defensive for the next 5
yes.
minutes.
And this is, I mean, this alone should tell you, oh crap. I mean, the 5th is going down from Neeb, the 4th is the planetary. There's missile turrets all over the place. You know, when a player has that much to burn, that means you took too long to do whatever it is you're going to do. Yeah.
It's definitely a bad sign. Yeah, when it's 23 minutes into the game and you're struggling to max out, it's another bad sign.
Yeah. So now Neeb has this line going all the way down to half the map of bases and units.
I actually wouldn't mind just base trade or something. Like, it actually might not be the worst idea. If he had Burrow, I would say it would be a pretty good idea, to be honest.
Yeah, a straight-on engagement, not a good idea. Not with this many Widow Mines now.
There's just no way a straight-on engagement. I mean, even if you clean it up, you're going to have nothing left. Like, it's just the fact that Terran can produce so much quicker.
Well, I mean, that wasn't the worst cleanup. But he's got to capitalize on it immediately. And there's a fair number of Marines sitting here. I'm not sure he can. Down here at the 4th. Or that's the 5th, excuse me.
Actually, these missile turrets are yellow for me, by the way, also. But GG.